Welcome to RAIN, the Real Estate Investor Growth Network with your hostess, Jen Josey. Join like-minded real estate investors and accelerate your business towards greatness. You will hear step-by-step strategies for success, interviews with real estate rock stars, and we will dig deep into past projects where we bear it all, including the good, the bad, and some just plain ugly. So get excited. Here's the bestower of badassery herself, the real Jen Josey. Listener discretion is advised.
Hi, and welcome back. I'm Jen Josey, creator of RAIN, the Real Estate Investor Growth Network. Whoop, whoop. On today's episode, we have a guest that will be sharing one of their past projects. We will let you decide if it was good or bad or just plain ugly. But before we begin, here's today's Badassery Bestowment, my little badass gift to you. Today's topic is one of the most common rookie mistakes in real estate investing: mixing your business funds with your personal stash. I get it. When you're flipping your first few houses, it might seem easier just to swipe that same debit card or shuffle money around from one account to another. But trust me, this is a recipe for confusion, stress, and major headaches come tax time. Here's how to keep your financial badassery on point. Number 1, open dedicated business accounts. Set up a separate checking account just for your real estate investing business. It doesn't need to be fancy. It just needs to be yours and only for business expenses and income. Number 2, track every transaction. Every dollar in and every dollar out should have a paper trail. Use accounting software, a spreadsheet, even a notebook if that's your jam, but just make sure you know where your money's going. Number 3, pay yourself like an employee. Instead of dipping into the business funds whenever you need some cash, set up a regular owner's draw or paycheck. This keeps things clean and makes bookkeeping a breeze. Number 4, protect yourself legally. Mixing funds can put your personal assets at risk if you ever get audited or sued. Keeping things separate helps protect your hard-earned cash and your peace of mind. And number 5, make tax time a breeze. Your accountant will love you, and you'll love your accountant, when all your business expenses and income are in one place, making deductions and reporting simple and stress-free. So, RAIN Nation, remember, treat your real estate business like the badass empire it is. Keep those funds separate, stay organized, and set yourself up for long-term success. Your future self and your CPA will thank you. Now on to today's episode of the Real Estate Investor Growth Network podcast. Today's guest is RAIN member Valentina Selskaya, a former IT leader straight out of Silicon Valley. She kicked off her investment journey back in 2017 as a side gig, just hustling on the weekends and after hours. But get this, in only 4 years, Valentina achieved full financial independence and said goodbye to the corporate grind for good. Now she's running a thriving business focused on flipping houses and managing a rapidly growing portfolio of long, mid, and short-term rentals. She's proof that with the right mindset and strategy, you can completely transform your life and career. It's my pleasure to have her on the show, so welcome, Valentina.
Thank you. Thank you, Jen.
How are you? I was a little tongue-tied. Sorry, y'all. It's been a long day already. But anyway, you got the gist of my badassery bestowment there. But Valentina, I am thrilled to have you on. I had the pleasure of meeting you through Tariq El Musa's homeschooled. I can remember what it was. Homeschooled by Tariq El Musa. And then you ended up joining my mastermind, which is RAIN. And the best part is you and I traveled to Iceland this past summer. So what a great time. So fun hanging out with you. And thank you so much for being here. I've been begging you for a while to come on the show. So give us a little background. How'd you get involved with real estate?
Well, I always wanted to achieve financial freedom, and it took me a while. I was working a corporate job in Silicon Valley, and I was always thinking, how can I do what I want when I want? And I started thinking about somewhat passive income. Of course, real estate is not really passive, but back then it felt like you make your money in the sleep. So, so I started turning my head that direction. Plus, my girlfriend was a real estate agent. I am now a real estate agent myself. So she was always kind of encouraging me to look into the investment. And once I did, I never looked back.
Very good.
So I kind of started as a side gig, just I did flip in California, but I really got into that game when I quit my full-time job, and That's when I started actually kind of basically doing it full time, if you will.
Very nice. And how did you find Homeschooled by Tarek?
Well, I was watching HGTV, as pretty much I guess everybody who started flipping houses, and Tarek's show, they were my favorite. I really liked Flip of Love. I was always fascinated by it, and then when he started advertising his homeschool program, I was like, well, who if not him can teach me how to do it? I was actually also, I forgot the program you did originally. I was on one of the seminars of
Fortune
this.
Builders.
Correct, Fortune
Yes.
Builders. I was on one of the seminars, but they were very adamant to give me like kind of like I didn't want the whole course. I wanted, kind of ad hoc, and Tarek was very flexible. So I was like, okay, I'll go with that. And you were my coach, which I am forever grateful that I met you there.
And you were a fabulous student. And now look at you. You are just killing it out there. And by the way, can I do a little sidebar here? I This is just announced. So I don't know if you saw this on my Facebook feed, but I have my 200th, sorry, 300th episode coming up soon. And I was like, who do I want? Who do I want? So I asked my very original mentor, Than Merrill, and I made this whole like thing on Facebook. Like, if anyone knows him, I would love to interview him. And everything came to fruition. So he is booked, and it will be my 300th episode, the guy who changed my life. So full circle moment for me as well. I just wanted to
Of
give a little
course.
shout out and get people ready for my 300th episode as well. But in the meantime, we have this badass episode to go through, and we are talking about one of your past projects. And you have a handful of past projects here, and I know you were trying to decide in between two of them, and I love the one that you picked because I think it will be a really good learning tool for all of us to learn, because I don't know, it's a mobile home, correct?
It is.
Yeah, I know
And
not much about mobile homes, so I am so ready to hear about it. So give us kind of the property description, the beds and baths, how old is it, anything special about the property.
so it was actually the house itself is 2002, like manufactured in 2002, and it's a three-bedroom, two baths. It's
Okay.
double wide mobile home. Before I bought this house, I had no idea what mobile homes are. I didn't even think about this as a real estate asset class. So I was like, okay, I mean, I'll consider, but I'm not sure. To me, it was kind of like a trailer. And I was very, very, how to say, skeptical about this whole deal. But then I ran the numbers, and it started making sense. So the property is actually in the middle of nowhere, Florida. Literally, like the town it's called Youngstown. It's a small town in Bay County, Florida. It's Emerald Coast, but it's
Okay.
not on the beach or close to the beach. It's on the lake.
Okay.
Literally, it has lake views. And that's one of the reasons why I decided to go for it. And when I visited the site for the first time, I was actually, I visited when I already made an offer. So at first I looked at it on Google Maps. I was like, I'm not sure, but it's a lake, and seems like the lake can be viewed from the house, which is good. So I decided to make an offer. I found this deal through the wholesaler.
Okay.
I'm sure it's going to be your next question. And the wholesaler, the whole like conversation was like, okay, the owner is moving out like right now, so they need to close as soon as possible. How fast can you close? And I'm like, okay, I can close fast. So I decided to just jump in my car and drive to Florida and look at it.
By the way, where do you live?
I live in Georgia. I live 6 hours away from the location. I actually do buy properties without looking at them. It's not this property I looked at because it was a fixer. I had to do the whole scoping of just
Scope
to
of work.
understand how scope of work exactly.
Yep.
But I do buy them without looking at them. If I have like somebody who I trust who can walk a property for me, I do that every
So,
once in a while.
quick question. How did this wholesaler find you in Georgia to buy a property in Florida?
So I knew this wholesaler. He reached out to me to buy my house in Florida, and we kind of like connected, and we became friends actually. So he every once in a while would give me a deal, and every once in a while I'll take it. With this particular house, the the deal was like a moving target. I learned a lot on this deal. At first, he offered it to me, I think, at like 80,000, but
Okay.
then the asking price went up. So it went up because he didn't know what the owner like owed on the house. Basically, the deal was that they needed to take it off the owner's chest so the owner doesn't owe anything to the bank and kind of like, be
So was it like
fully debt
pre-foreclosure maybe?
free.
Like a
It
pre-foreclosure?
was,
Okay.
yeah. So they didn't pay for property tax. They didn't pay for the mortgage for like several months. At first, they were offering a sub-to deal, but then the sub-to didn't happen. The bank didn't want to catch up with the payments, and like I decided to pay cash because you never know. Like it can be a good deal as a sub-to deal, but then at the end of the day, there is always a risk. So when I was buying it. Well, I ended up buying it for 89,000.
Okay.
Like that was the final price. So it was like significantly higher than I thought it would be, but the numbers still worked, so I still decided to go for it. And the best, the shittiest part of this about this project that it was, I don't know how these people lived in this house. They lived in there for a while. The house was a hoarder house and a nightmare house. So literally. So I don't think they had trash service at all. They had a barrel, they burned trash in the backyard. And then whatever they couldn't burn, they just dumped on the backyard. And
Oh.
like, I kid you not, it was like a landfill, quite literally, on the backyard.
By the way, I did ask this part. How much land is this on?
It's a third of an acre. It's
Okay,
like
okay.
0.39 of an acre or something. So it's a big lot, actually.
Okay. And
It's a
then
spacious lot.
when you were buying this and looking at this, what was your exit strategy for it?
Well, I was hoping to flip it
Okay.
and sell it.
Gotcha.
But I ended up not flipping it. I ended up keeping it, and
Okay.
I'll tell you why later.
All right.
But yeah, so like I so
Well,
okay, so
let's pause here for a second though.
sure.
But so you are buying it for 89 and you were saying that your numbers still work. So what was the estimated ARV?
So based on what wholesaler told me, and that these numbers were quite accurate at the time, it would be 195.
Oh.
Yeah, but it so appraisal came up much lower than
All
that.
right. Well, we
And
can
that
get
was
into
one of
that.
the surprises. We'll get into that
Yes.
later.
I was just curious, what you were thinking to do with
Yeah,
this
the
property.
house literally across the street from my house with exactly the same everything was sold 195, but that
Okay.
was almost a year before when I decided to list it.
Gotcha.
So that was kind of like this timing was a little bit unfortunate because by the time appraisal came out, that year mark was already
Right.
passed.
Yeah. All right. So you are buying this property, 89K. You has a ton of shit everywhere. So
Right.
what were your estimated repairs when you were creating the scope of work when you were down there?
My estimated repairs were about 40K,
Okay.
yeah, because it needed a lot of work. But it ended up higher because,
Because
okay, so
that never happens.
it never happens. I mean, okay, so what I didn't expect that it'll take me four 30-yard dumpsters to take all that pile of shit on the backyard out and plus demo. So literally that came plus labor. I mean, because
Right.
I wouldn't carry all of that. So never underestimate how much it can cost you to remove the junk if
Yep.
it's a lot of junk. Then one of the bathrooms, I didn't plan to touch it. So let me step back. When I walked the property initially, I was told that it's infested with fleas.
Oh,
So I knew that I have to be careful. I had no idea what it meant until until I stepped into this property. Until I stepped out of this property, let's put it this way. And I read about it, and I knew you'd better wear everything white or like light.
yeah.
But like, oh my God, this property was literally covered in fleas, like top to
Oh.
bottom. It was terrible. Then there was no power in the whole house, so I couldn't clearly see everything. And like all the windows, most of the windows were shut with like some sort of drapery or some sort of paper. They just kind of like covered it all so nobody could see through. One of the windows were broken, but anyways, it was kind of like I couldn't clearly see when I walked it. My lesson I learned, always have a good flashlight when you walk shit show property. So yeah, so one of the surprises were I had to replace the bathtub in the bathroom
Oh.
because it had a crack which I didn't see, and that crack was not fixable. It was on the bottom of
Oh.
the bathtub. So one of the bathrooms were a complete
Redo.
surprise.
Okay.
And like because of that crack, the water was leaking. All the subfloors under this bathroom was completely rotten, so I had to replace that. Another surprise was the kitchen cabinets. They looked okay when I looked at them, again, with like a limited light ahead. But they ended up being kind of bubbling up. So you could see that they are damaged. And like, if I knew that I'm gonna keep it as a rental, maybe I would go for it, although it wouldn't look perfect. So I ended up having to replace it. That's where my additional about 8 grand of
Okay.
surprise came from. Yeah, and there was no HVAC, so I knew I'm gonna be installing a new HVAC. They had a lot of like window units here and there. The whole carpet on all the floors had to go. They had pets, obviously, because of fleas. One of the rooms in the house was probably literally used like a bathroom for the pets. I was just based on the smell and everything. The kitchen was a shit show. There was no power. There was food rotting in a refrigerator. We literally had to just tape it around and carry it outside because it was just
Yep.
horrendous. Literally,
Wow.
we opened all the windows to try to get rid of the smell, but it was terrible.
All right. So Valentina, you bought this with cash, you said. So
Yeah,
and then you're just,
mostly. Yes,
well,
I have a HELOC, so I use
okay.
my equity line of credit every once in a while. For this one, I bought it for cash. I use HELOC to do renovations, and so it didn't cost me much to
Okay.
keep that financing going, and it took me only 2 months to flip it. So
Gotcha.
when I get on the project, I'm trying. Time management is everything in my books, so I live and breathe time management.
Because time is money. So
Right.
I'm curious, this was your first mobile home that you were flipping. How is it different? Because you mentioned subfloor and things like is any of that different, or is it literally just like flipping a regular house?
It is different. I think, well, maybe because my mobile home is relatively new. I'm 20 years old. It's easier. Like the county
Oh,
where my mobile home is looked at mobile homes with much mm, less precision than a traditional home.
Okay.
So getting permit, getting inspections done, it was easier and breezier compared to a normal situation. They literally expect you, like plumbing wise or whatnot, they expect you to meet the standard of a manufactured home. You don't need to meet standards of a traditional
Oh,
home,
okay.
which is nice. So I mean, I think it's it's good, but I heard from experts that, when it comes to older homes, it can be much more tricky because I'm not an expert on that. I
Gotcha.
know that give me a newer mobile home, I'll take it.
Okay. Gotcha. All right. So you said it only took 2 months. Were there any surprises that came up? I mean, besides the broken
Bathroom and the
bathtub
kitchen.
and,
Bathroom
and
and the kitchen were surprises. And also just the amount of junk. Like we literally took this junk from the backyard. It took us so long. I could not believe how many dumpsters I went through.
wow.
I mean, when I called the dumpster company again, they're like, "Oh, hello." I'm like, "I know." I'm like, "But it's keep coming, it keep filling up, so we have to take it somewhere." So,
Oh my goodness. All right. So 2 months go by and you have completed it and now it looks
mhm.
fantastic. How'd you get rid of the fleas, by the way?
Well, that was actually easier than I thought.
Okay.
I have a property in the same county. I called my pest control company. I paid them $200 and they did some magic, sprayed it, whatever. 2 days later, it was safe to walk
Oh,
in and it was safe and it was free of fleas. And then we discovered besides fleas, there were cockroaches and stuff. I put the ozone machines in two sides of the house a couple nights in a row, and it got rid of everything living in this house, and some of the smell, which was excellent,
good.
because the smell was one of the bad things.
And you replaced all the flooring, you redid the
Yes.
cabinets. What else did you have done? I mean, I know you had the surprises, but
So
what were you originally budgeted for?
yeah, so it needed the whole paint throughout. It needed the whole clean throughout. So the especially the kitchen, the walls were covered with some sort of grease, dirt, whatever. I don't know. I don't know. Like these
Well,
people are pigs.
so let me ask though, because I know some mobile homes they have those seams in there. It's not drywall though, is it? What's
It's not a drywall.
okay?
It's kind of like if you've ever been to RV, there is like a paneling covered with something like a vinyl, which you can clean because you cannot, I mean, if you paint without cleaning, the paint will start peeling
Right.
off. So I hired a cleaning company. They came and washed the walls before we painted it, and we painted everything. We laid the flooring. I had to replace master bathroom, basically the not everything, but I had to replace the bathtub. I knew it when from the very start. But I had to replace the other bathtub as well, which I didn't plan to replace. Then we had to, yeah, so basically two bathrooms, the flooring, the paint, back. What else? Oh, and also the house had a big patio. The patio was from the polywood, which is great. And it was significant, like in size. It's really a large lake-facing patio. The
Nice.
problem is that patio didn't have any railing. And by all standards, I wouldn't be able to neither finance nor insure it without the railing.
Gotcha.
So I had to put the in. That was another little surprise, which ended up being like about 3 grand, like literally 3 grand worth of stuff to put around it. And then I had to buy new steps down.
Hmm.
Steps down for mobile home are also expensive. It's like over 1,000 per. Yeah, I know it's crazy. Like you would never think,
Wow.
but it's pretty expensive. So all of that, overall cleanup, exterior paint, we had to. So the house on exterior was covered in the vine, like growing vine, and my insurance company was flipping over this. Like they're like, we're not insuring until you get rid of this because it's going under the siding.
Ah,
It's literally all this stuff. It'll literally kind of like break the house apart. So we had to do all that, removal, like we had to do a lot of landscaping. Landscaping wasn't present at all. So yeah, we did basically everything. And all of that altogether was about 40 grand,
Okay.
which was more expensive than I could ever imagine, but it is what it is.
Gotcha. So, all right, now you are finished. It's 2 months later. It looks gorgeous, and you go to list it. So, tell us about, because your
Yes.
original plan was to flip it.
To
And
list it.
yes.
Yeah. So my original agreement with the wholesaler, because he's a licensed agent as well, was that he's going to list it for free because of the moving target of the purchase price. Like purchase price, came up from like about 80 to like 89. But then he talked to his boss or whatever, I'm not sure, broker. He's like, I can list it for free. I can list it for 2% on my end plus. Basically, he's like, okay, it's gonna be a full price. I was like, okay. With even, with that, I was like considering listing it, but it was January and January, February, like it was actually beginning of January when I was ready to list it. And I'm like, in January, seasonally low, like prices are lower, interest is lower. So I started looking at what's for sale. There were some houses for sale and they were like much lower than I would think. So I was like, what if I hold it? Plus, if even if I were to sell it at the full price, given all of the surprises, I wouldn't make that much money. So I was like, okay, I'll try to rent it out. And actually, you introduced me to a coach. I
Huh.
forgot her name. She was a mobile home coach, and she
Oh,
told me, she's like, keep
Christy,
it. It's gonna be
Christy
a
Duckett
money.
Harris. Christy Duckett.
Right, right,
Yes, she's the
Christy.
best.
She's like, it's gonna be a money maker, and I'm like, okay, well, why not? I mean, literally, like when you fix a mobile home once, you kind of understand what you are coming against, and like everything inside of this house was new or new-ish. So
Right.
I was like, I mean, why not keep it? So I not many lenders offer the refinance, but I was like, okay, I'll figure it out. So I listed it for rent. I listed it for rent, like a typical rent in this area for this kind of house is 1,600.
Oh, wow.
Because of the lake views and because everything was newer, I listed it at 1,900. I had a line of people, a line. I had like 20 people interested to rent it tomorrow. I was like, wow, this is great. So
And
we
by the way, so Valentina, from my numbers here, you're all in for about 140.
150.
One
About actually, hold on. Yeah, 140. Yeah,
140.
140. Yeah.
And okay.
But with the refinance,
Yes.
it went 149 or something. Yeah.
So what did it appraise for? 149?
It
No.
appraised at 154.
Okay.
It was low. It was low because I used Kiavi. And I mean they're one of the few which give
Mm-hmm.
like loans for mobile homes. Not
Yep.
many lenders will do mobile home loans, unfortunately, especially cash out.
Right.
So their LTV is 65% on manufactured houses. I know it's terrible.
So it appraised
Anyways,
for 154, and what'd you finance it for?
I financed it. What do you mean, what I financed it
So
for?
if it appraised for 154 and they're only doing 65% of
They're
that, I
doing
can't do math.
65%. My loan is 99 and a change
Okay.
thousand. So I am all in cash wise 54,000.
Gotcha.
But yeah, but like why it was appraised that low? Like the only explanation I have, they used appraiser from like 2 hours away who have no idea what this area is like. And like, yeah, they use general appraisal principles, but I mean, there is a lake, there's a lake view, and there is like mobile homes without a lake in the middle of the field. Like they will go much cheaper. So they were kind of appraising it without knowing the
Gotcha.
area.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, there's not much you can do about it. Like
Yeah.
I spoke with so many lenders about it, and a lot of lenders use exactly the same model. Unfortunately, they use a pool of appraisals. They kind of like ask for a bid. They offer a certain amount of money, and whoever picks it up takes it.
Right.
And like whatever they come up with is what they come up with. Anyways, so yeah, financing, in my opinion, it was terrible. I would be in much better return if it was appraised up closer to where I supposed to be.
Right.
But even though I am making 32% cash on cash, which I'm pretty happy with.
Absolutely. So you're renting it for 1900 and how
Correct. I have my renters. He is a contractor. He
ah,
does like house renovations and stuff. They improved my lot. I'm blessed. I like pray for these people every day. They literally improved my lot. They installed the fans. They did a lot
wow.
of stuff. They did a final cleanup of they leveled the lot. They did the final cleanup
Oh
of
my
the junk,
goodness.
which was unreachable without a tractor because he has a tractor. I was kind of like, I mean, I love them. I love them. I gave them the chance. They had a bad credit, but I could tell they're good people, and these good people, God bless
Yes.
their heart. I'm very happy with them.
I'm so glad you said that because people who've been in the landlord business for a while, they're like, yeah, they all seem nice in the beginning, but I am right there with you because one of our rental properties, we had a roofer in there and he was amazing. Never complained. One of the trees on the property fell through the neighbor's fence behind. And he's like, I got it. Don't worry about it. So he took care of it. He was just amazing. And then we needed some cash because it was a rough year. And so we had to sell that property and I was like hated to call because I had the most equity, hated to call him like, I am so sorry, but we're thinking about listing it. Do you want to stay in the property? He's like, oh my gosh, I have been hesitant to call you because I just got approved for a loan. I'm actually going to buy a house in Cary. I'm like, what? I'm like, thank goodness the stars aligned. But I agree 1,000%, Valentina. You got to take a chance sometimes on people and they end up making it awesome. By the way, have you thought about doing any seller financing or not seller financing, but rent to
Um,
own with these people? I mean, they sound amazing.
I don't know if they want to own. I'm not
Gotcha.
sure. I'm gonna ask them at some point because I mean they are older. They're in the 60s, I believe.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But yeah, I mean, they are long-term people. They before this house, they rented for 15 years another manufactured house, not far from there, and he was absolutely thrilled with the lake because he's in fishing, into hunting, and fishing and hunting is like 2, 3 minutes away. Like you cannot, if you are into outdoors, that's perfect property for you. And he's absolutely into that. I would love to sell it to them one day if they can afford it. But I'm not sure what their situation is. I know that
Gotcha.
they unfortunately got into like construction business didn't go as they planned, so they kind of got into the whatever debt situation, and that's why the credit score was not great. But I personally like blue collar renters are my favorite by far.
Yes,
And like I
absolutely.
always try to listen to my gut. Every time I don't, every time somebody looks nice on the surface, you end up with a nightmare. I
Yeah.
mean, I like every time I have some sort like now I literally listen to my gut feeling when I when I rent the properties out.
That's important to do. So to wrap up this first part of the podcast here, so you bought it for 89,000. You put about 48,000 into it. It appraised lower than you thought, so you were only able to finance 99, but it is bringing in 1,900 a month. So what is it cash flowing you every month?
It's cash flowing me. It's cash flowing me. 1 second.
Well, you said what was the ROI? 30,
It's 32%.
32%.
32%. Yeah.
I
With
mean,
with my with the loan and everything, it's 1462. So with my yeah. So yeah, I'm at 32% cash on cash return. Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty good. And honestly speaking, I'm now looking for mobile homes. Like
I love it.
I have, it's not easy. They're not for sale all the time, but if I'll find some, I'll take some. And
I
what I like about Florida, it's if you want to keep a property over there, returns are higher than in other states,
you
in
know
many other states.
and I'm glad you brought that up because I am from Florida, and the mobile home parks down there are way different and I'm in North Carolina now, are very different from North Carolina. Down there, I mean, it is fun. They all have the little golf carts they go around. I mean, this one's on a lake. I think of the pink ones with all the flamingos, and they just really deck them out. So I'm glad you did differentiate with that, because that is important here. So after this project, what are your main takeaways from doing your first buy and hold of a mobile home?
Well, I don't think it's about mobile homes. So first of all, takeaway is that you would refinance at 65% LTV max.
Yeah.
That's unfortunately the reality. So cash buyers or somebody who has more cash would benefit from buying mobile home. I would say it's perfect for renting out because you really cannot kill it. I mean, because it sits on the chassis. Its chassis is attached to it has a permanent foundation, but still there is not much can go wrong with a mobile home. And even if it does, the materials to replace, even the fundamentals about this mobile home, they are not that pricey. So I would say rental wise, it's perfect.
Good.
My takeaway in general is always carry a flashlight.
I was going to say, carry a flashlight, wear white and light clothes when walking through
Exactly.
fleas.
Right. And then never underestimate how much junk
Garbage. Yes.
removal can cost, because it may seem like nothing, but this nothing adds up, turn into 5 grand.
Ooh.
You know,
Well,
it's a
one
lot.
one little nugget on that. So I have two guys that I work with here up in North Carolina and I've bought two or three hoarder houses, but they were not. I don't think they were anything like this. I don't think it was, because you said that there was no trash so I think this is more trash in your situation. But if you're buying a property where they leave all the furniture, see if you can find someone who will remove everything, but then they can keep all the good furniture that's left. And because one guy, this
It
is
was
really great.
not.
I figured in this situation it was not, but just for the listeners out there, it's a situation where they can take the furniture, clean it up a little bit, and sell it to lower income families on the cheap, but still make a little bit of money. So I have found that
I
as a
do
possibility.
that
Yeah.
when I can. Yeah,
Right.
I
When you
do
can.
that when I can.
I bet this was not that situation.
And
So
I keep whatever I can for staging for future projects,
that's
because
true.
I mean staging takes money as well. I mean, especially if you want a variety, if you can store it somewhere after the fact, it's great. But because of the fleas, literally there was no furniture that I could keep. I mean, I don't know. These
Whew.
people are just pigs. Like sometimes you look at how people live, and I'm just shocked. And I could not imagine anybody would live on this, but anyways, some people do.
Yes. All right. Well, we are going to move to the second part of the podcast here, which is what makes Valentina a badass, which you are. And I use the acronym BADASS, and the first letter is B for book. What's a book that's made a huge difference in your life?
Okay. I read Rich Dad Poor Dad when I was like in my early 20s, maybe 20 or something. And that probably was the most influential book, because I started my own business when I was in my early 20s, a first business. And then I went through the corporate career because it was fun. And then, I ended up doing my own business and investments. After all, I think this book is influential. I actually bought it for my son. I'm like, read it, follow it. This is the path to success. Outside of that, honestly speaking, recently I'm not really a book reader. I am mostly a podcast listener. Your podcast, believe it or not, is one of my favorites. I literally I made notes when I started listening, and I started listening from the beginning.
Oh my
You know,
goodness.
I made notes, so I highly recommend your podcast to everybody.
Well, thank you for that. It's so funny about Rich Dad Poor Dad. So I'm in my neighborhood book club. It's the ladies book club. Honestly, I just want to get into some of these houses to see what these ladies' houses look like. And I have not read like fiction books for years because I'm really into the business books and everything. And so it's been very enjoyable. But we had the book selection just 2 weeks ago. And as I was reading through, there was no nonfiction books. So I put in Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and they selected it. So I am presenting Rich Dad, Poor Dad to the ladies of my neighborhood this year. So I love that book as well. It totally changed my life as well. So I'm glad you brought that up. All right. The first A in Badass is for advice. What's the best piece of advice you've ever received?
The best piece of advice is don't overthink, just act. Because a lot of times people are hung up on whatever shit show they have on their head, insecurities or whatnot, and they just don't do it. They just tend to think, oh, I'm going to think through it and then I'll do it. But they never end up doing it, whatever it is. So I tend to just take a deep breath and just like do it anyways, and then see how it come up with. Like with this mobile home, I had a lot of doubts. Like I never did a mobile home. I never thought about mobile home as a asset class, and I'm like, at the end of the day, it's one of the best performing ones. Just based on the fact, I, I don't know, it just happened. So I'm like, I think it's a good surprise for me. And if I wouldn't make that first step and said yes, I wouldn't be there.
Absolutely. And that's what I love about you. When we were hanging out in Iceland, I mean, you were just like, it's black or white. Like, let's go, let's do this. And, you just know, I don't know if it's a cultural thing with your Russian background. It's just, I really admire that about you, Valentina, that, because, you know who I live with, because Vance is like overthinks everything. So I'm like, I need more Valentina in my life. All right. The D in Badass is for drive. What drives you to be successful?
Financial freedom.
Mm,
I love spending my life and my time the way I want, and I think having your own business gives you that opportunity. So as much as I can, want to stick of being my own boss. Because this is awesome. Like I wake up every morning, I have a coffee on the porch, I look outside, I talk to my neighbors. Like all of these little things make your day count and
yep.
enjoyable. And I want to live life which I enjoy versus Reddit. Like, I mean, I absolutely enjoyed being in corporate for a while, but eventually it's like a rat race, and you understand that no matter what you do, there are politics which you have zero control over, not zero,
Right.
but limited control over. And like having your own business, you do have control over your decisions, you have options, and whatever you do, like you can make it better or worse. So that's what drives me to stay in this
Very good.
business.
That financial freedom. And that is going to take you in. We are planning our next rain trip to Greece, by the way. And I have not even announced it on the podcast, but you heard the first one to say, I'm in. And so we're going in 2027 in March, but we are doing a trip. So check out the Rain website. I'll put it in the notes, but if you're interested, come and join us. All right. The second A in Badass is for aspiration. I'm a big goal setter. So what is a goal you are currently working on?
I'm actually, well, I have two goals. One goal, I want to explore so I have a real estate license. I want to explore being a real estate agent, which I got my license to do flips and I do them
Right.
and I use it, but I also want to help others to buy the house of their dreams or work with investors like myself because,
Yep.
that's what I do. And a second goal, I want to dip my toes into the multifamily. I don't know if I'll get into that or not at the end of the day because it can be a significant investment, but I am looking for the seller financing multi-family deal. So whoever has it and whoever listens and wants to get rid of it, please give me a call. I'll seriously consider.
And how do people find you if they have a deal for you?
So I have a website. It's called southoffer.com. And I do look for private money lenders and for people who wants to sell their house. So if you have a deal in the South, southoffer.com.
South Offer. I love it. All right. The first S in badass is for systems. What systems do you have in place to help you achieve success, Miss IT corporate?
Yeah, well, I'm all about time management. I do project manage my own projects a lot because I am now, well, I have a team, but my team is slim and nobody works off project management tools. I literally use reminders on my phone and my
Nice.
Mac. Believe it or not, you can literally create a project plan with reminders, which is going to ping you whenever you need to do anything. I used to use project management tools before because I used to manage huge projects like Asana. That's what I used in the
Yep.
past. But it doesn't really make sense. Like I thought about it, doesn't make sense to pay for all these tools because like $20 here, 30 there,
It
it keeps
adds up.
changing up. Yeah. And like, and my phone is always with me and nobody is collaborating with me on my project plans except for myself. So I'm just being slim and using the reminders.
I love it. I think, hey, if it works, it works. Before we get to the final S here, can you just talk a little bit about your experience being part of the Rain Mastermind group?
I absolutely love it. I think I'm getting so much out of it, like you wouldn't believe it, because, well, Jen, first of all, you have more experience than me in this field.
Well,
Number two, we have a great group of people,
yes.
and literally like whatever question I have, say I work on a project or I am searching for the project, like, I don't know, whatever question I have, I may ask the group during our meetings, which we have twice a month. And I believe that, I'm happy to share my experience with everybody. Everybody are sharing their experiences, and it's a win-win for everyone. And value-wise, I think it's the best. I
It,
literally, I literally highly recommend this, and I highly recommend your podcast to everybody I know who is interested in this field. So, I mean, you are my favorite.
well, you are my favorite, Valentina, and thank you for saying that. And I don't know more than you. I know stuff in this lane, and when I want to possibly look at flipping a mobile home, you're going to be the person I'm going to call because now you are the expert in that area. So we have our different areas of expertise. And you also, by the way, you also do the short-term rentals, mid-term rentals. I mean, you are just so smart in all the decisions that you have made. So thank you for being part of the Rain Mastermind community because you also contribute so much to the group and we do appreciate you being in there. So to wrap up, this final S in badass is for success. What does success mean to Valentina?
Success for me is spending more time with the family after all. Like, when I turned 40, I started valuing, valuing spending time with family more than ever before because, in your 20s and 30s, you want to make a career, you want to like, I don't know, become a VP or whatnot. You have certain goals. Now, like I have different goals. So like now spend my time the way I want, spend it with whoever I want, who I enjoy is much more important.
Yes.
So
Well, I am
that's
lucky I get to spend time with you. And if you all want to join us in Greece, I was about to say Iceland again. If you want to join us in Greece in 2027 in March, just come look at the rainmastermind.com website. Valentina, this has been such a pleasure. Thank you so very much. Give us your website one more time if people want to reach out.
southoffer.com. And
Wonderful.
speaking of the trip, I've been in Iceland. The trip was organized perfectly, fun people, and we all had, the nightly sessions where they're super informal, but you get so much out of it when you share experience. Share your systems, share your projects, what are you working on, what do you have. And like all of these nuggets are just beyond
Yes.
valuable.
And it's so different when you're in person together. You know, you're
I agree.
virtual all the time, and getting together in person and developing those relationships. And so I truly thank you. Thank you so much for being here today, Valentina.
Thank you, Jen. Thank you for having
Absolutely.
me.
Absolutely. And that is all. Thank you for listening. We'll catch you on the next episode. Now go out there and share your badassery. And don't forget, make it a great day. Do it with me, Valentina. Whoop, whoop.
Whoop, whoop.
Thank you for listening to RAIN, the Real Estate Investor Growth Network. Be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcasting platform so you never miss an episode. If you need more badassery, you can follow Jen Josey by visiting therealjenjosey.com or become a member of RAIN by registering on rainmastermind.com.